Things again were very bad because the coconuts were destroyed in 44. It takes 5 to 6 years for the coconuts to rebuild. The whole structure of farming was undermined. I didn't see any future. Of course, my father was very glad I was there because I'm the eldest son. And like him, eventually I would take over the farm to pick pimento and to plant banana and all that. But I had no intention of planting bananas.
Back then, Sam was just 22 years old, but he'd already seen the outside world. He'd volunteered during World War II and served in the Royal Air Force in Britain. With the coming of peace, he'd returned to the hills of eastern Jamaica, but he knew he wouldn't stay. And within months, he spotted a chance to get away.
It was in the Daily Jamaican newspaper that this troop ship would call to Jamaica in about 2 weeks' time, and the passage was £28 10 shillings. Let's get that straight. The average man didn't have £28 10 shillings. It was equivalent to about 3 cows.
So you're sitting reading the newspaper, and what goes through your mind?
I'm going back to England.
Eventually, nearly 500 passengers boarded the ship, bound for England and a new life. They would turn out to be pioneers. Their journey marked the start of a new wave of migration. In the decade to come, 250,000 West Indians would follow in the wake of the Windrush. Sam remembers the mood that evening when she slipped slowly out of Kingston Harbour.
People were waving, things were happening on the docks. Now, for about half of us, we had no intention of coming back to a colony. We were looking forward. We were looking towards a new hope. But there were some men in their 40s who had a wife and children. They were looking back at yard. They were waving, they were that. But we, chiefly the young ones, were not looking back. We were looking forward.
And the other young guys who, unlike you, hadn't seen Britain before, were they asking lots of questions?
Time and again, they would come, Sam, what will happen? Will I have a job? They were more concerned about job. I said, settle down. In the evening, after supper, about 6:30, I would go in the lower deck and I would have 8, 10 of them. I said, look, food is ration in England. You can't grasp that. There's hardly anywhere to live because the bad Germans destroyed Britain. So to get accommodation, but work is all over the place. So work is not the problem. It's somewhere to live and food to eat.
This was back in a time when West Indians still regarded Britain as a kind of motherland. It was the seat of a great empire of which they were a part. And Britain did provide these new arrivals with plenty of work. There was much to rebuild in the aftermath of the war.